The Northern Light Webcasting Network and NLWN2, in conjunction with Colfax High School, presents Viking Pre-game. A look at today's Colfax Vikings boys game. And now, Viking Pre-game.
Good evening and welcome to the NLWN2 studios. Rick Olson here, and tonight the 8-4 Colfax Vikings will try to continue to build their conference record as they take on the 2-9 Glenwood City Hilltoppers, who are 0-6 in the Dun-St. Croix Conference. The Vikings are coming off an exciting last-second 52-49 victory over the Elmwood Plum City Wolves on Tuesday night, while the Hilltoppers are coming off a 75-49 loss to the Boyceville Bulldogs also on Tuesday. Now, coming up in this edition of Viking Pregame, we'll take a look at tonight's matchup between the Glenwood City Hilltoppers and the Colfax Vikings. Then we'll get Coach Knoll's perspective on tonight's game in Coach's Corner. Following that, Jay Fall and Dan Petshaw will bring you all the play-by-play action of tonight's game. So it's time to get ready for some exciting high school boys basketball. All that coming up right after this brief timeout. You're tuned to Viking Pregame on the Northern Light Webcasting Network and NLWN2.
I want to eat apples and bananas. I need to eat apples and bananas. Why can't I eat apples and bananas?
Support the Feeding America nationwide network of food banks to help provide meals to those in need. Join us at feedingamerica.org.
Welcome back to Viking Pregame, where we're getting ready to bring you all the action of tonight's game between the Glenwood City Hilltoppers and the Colfax Vikings. The Vikings are looking to follow up on their victory Tuesday night when they defeated the Elmwood Plum City Wolves 52-49 on a last-second three-point shot by Aiden Fisher. Now, in that game, the Vikings got off to a slow start, still trying to find their legs from the very physical game the night before. The Vikings were down by 10 at the half, but they kept their poise and scrapped their way back into the game, finally gaining the tie with 5:17 remaining. The game seesawed back and forth until Fisher's game-winning shot with 30 seconds remaining.
Looks like Colfax is going for these shots. And Swinger out to Fisher. Fisher for three! Fisher puts the Vikings up by 3. 52-49.
Now, in that game, the Vikings were led in scoring by 6'4" senior Jack Charlo, who hit on 9 field goals and went 3 for 9 from the free throw line for 21 points. He was followed by Elijah Ensminger, who nailed 5 field goals and hit on 1 of 2 from the charity stripe for 11 points. Meanwhile, Aiden Fisher added 5 points, including the game winner, and Kyle Irwin also added 5 points. So far on the season, leading the way scoring for the Vikings is Charlo, who's averaging nearly 19 points per game. He's followed by Ensminger, who's putting up almost 16, and Nick Jensen, who's chipping in with close to 8. Leading rebounders for the Vikings are Charlo, who's averaging 9 per game, and Jensen, who's pulling down 7. The Hilltoppers come into tonight's game with a 2-9 overall record and are 0-6 in the Dun-St. Croix Conference, following their 75-49 loss to the Boyceville Bulldogs on Tuesday night. Look for the Toppers to be led in scoring by sophomore guard Tyler Harrington, who averages just over 11 points per game. He's followed by senior forward Anthony Nelson, who adds over 9 points per game, and senior Alec Anderson is chipping in another 8 points per game. On the boards, the Hilltoppers are led by Nelson and junior guard Morgan Eggert, who are each pulling down 6 boards per game, while Anderson manages to grab 5 per game. So far on the season, Glenwood City is scoring at a 49-point average while giving up 57 points per game. The Vikings are averaging over 60 points per game while allowing an average of 56. Coming up next, following this timeout, we'll get the coach's perspective as we chat with Viking head coach Mark Knoll on Coach's Corner. You're tuned to Viking Pregame on the Northern Light Webcasting Network and NLWN2.
The Northern Light Webcasting Network and NLWN2 are proud to announce that this spring they will be your viewing home for Eau Claire Cowboys football. Check out www.northernlightwebcastingnetwork.com for times and dates. That's Eau Claire Cowboy football on the Northern Light Webcasting Network and NLWN2.
Time now to see what the coaches have to say. It's Coach's Corner, with a look at tonight's game from the coach's point of view. And now, Coach's Corner.
Once again on Coach's Corner, we're talking with Viking boys head coach Mark Knoll. And Coach, on Tuesday, the Vikings emerged victorious in one of the most exciting basketball games of the season with a 52-49 win over the Elmwood Plum City Wolves. Your comments about that game?
Well, first of all, like I said after the game, I give respect to EPC. I thought they played really, really well. And on the flip side for us, not that we played bad, but we just didn't have our discipline and focus maybe the way we should have in the first half. We made some critical mental errors that cost us some big points. And then we dug ourselves a hole by 12 points at halftime. And we found a way to get our discipline going in the right direction in the second half and to come out on top by 3 points.
Now, in that game against EPC and the one the night before against Boyceville, it seemed to provide the Vikings with some great learning experiences between the physical aspect of the Boyceville game and the need to make a stunning comeback against EPC. It appeared as though it was an opportunity for the Vikings to pick up a lot of confidence. Your thoughts about that?
Yes, I think, obviously we did gain some confidence because now we know that we can come back from 12 points down. Nobody wants to do that, but now that we've done that, we can say that as a reference. And then on top of that, I think, we had some players step up. Aiden Fisher made that huge three with, roughly 30 seconds left in the game to put us up by 3 points. And we had down the stretch, like in the last 3 minutes, we made Elmwood Plum City turn the ball over 4 of their 5 last possessions. So you can get a lot of confidence from that.
I had a couple people even ask me about you had 4 team fouls against the Vikings, and with about a minute to go in the game, EPC had the ball, and you went ahead and had your guys foul EPC. Now, the way I read it is that by fouling them and making them take the ball out of bounds, it was forcing them to eat up some pretty valuable clock. Is that what was going through your mind, or you want to explain that to us lay people?
Yeah, when there was, roughly 25 seconds left, they called their last timeout with the ball on the sideline, and we had 2 fouls to give before we got to the third foul, which was bonus. So what we wanted to do there was, yes, waste some time so some clock comes off the clock. But I think more importantly as well is EPC had no timeouts for that last one. So once we got them to show their cards and run their play they wanted to try to run, call that foul, now the ball's in a different position on the court, and then they had to run something else. And then that's why they almost had a turnover on that last play where they threw it in the backcourt. And, fortunately for us, they did not score on that last shot. And it was in my head whether we should foul or not one more time because you are up 3 and they could tie the game with a made shot. But I decided to let our defense get the stop.
And that last shot that did hit the back of the iron, because you guys forced that almost turnover way into the backcourt, it forced a hurried shot, and which is probably why it didn't go in.
Yes, yeah. So I was happy the way it worked out. I've done it before where we have fouled at the end because you're up 3. And one time in a college game, they made the first free throw. The second one they missed, obviously on purpose. They got the rebound, put it in. And we went to overtime. and I felt so bad, but we still won the game. But it was one of those, like, man, I don't know if that was a right idea to do or not. So ever since then, I've been a little more cautious about it.
All right. Well, tonight, the Vikings take on the 2-9 Glenwood City Hilltoppers, who are 0-6 in the Dunn St. Croix Conference. What can you tell us about the Hilltoppers?
Well, I think number one is they're a very hungry team. You just said they're 0-6, but they've played a few of the teams pretty close, and they're a really super scrappy team. They're going to be flying around. They're going to be trying to trap us and make us turn the ball over. So we have to take care of the ball tonight, and we have to make good decisions. But I think if we can use our depth, and if we can also be the aggressor on defense, that will help us set the tone for the game.
Now, even though he doesn't play very much, Logan Swartz does suit up for the varsity, and it appeared as though he got injured on Tuesday in the junior varsity game. What was the nature of his injury, and how is he progressing?
He will be fine with his injury. He had it checked out, and he'll be fine. And I haven't heard the latest of when he's going to be back, but I think he'll be back hopefully fairly soon.
It was a shoulder?
Yes.
Yeah, okay. That's what we thought it looked like, but it wasn't. We weren't quite sure. Well, Coach Noel, good luck on tonight's game. Hopefully the Vikings can stay hot and get on that game-winning streak.
No problem, and I appreciate it, and go Vikings.
You've been listening to Coach's Corner, where they look at tonight's game from the coach's point of view. This has been a presentation of the Northern Light Webcasting Network.
Multiple studies have shown that marijuana can slow both driver reaction and response time, which can be really dangerous. He's here. He's here. Wait. What? I can't drive. Why? My. Oh.
Welcome back to Viking Pregame. The Vikings are looking to stay in the thick of the Dunn St. Croix Conference race and keep their winning streak alive. Now, on the other hand, the Glenwood City Hilltoppers would like to notch their first conference win of the season. Now, the last time the Hilltoppers defeated the Vikings was back on February 8th of 2018. That means the Vikings are currently riding an 8-game winning streak over the Hilltoppers, and the Toppers would very much like to snap that streak tonight. So the stage is set for some exciting boys high school basketball, and we'll have all the action for you right here on the Northern Light Webcasting Network and NLWN 2. Now, in just a moment, we'll send it out to Glenwood City High School, where our broadcast crew is ready to bring you all the action of tonight's boys game between the Colfax Vikings and the Glenwood City Hilltoppers. That's all coming up next. You've been tuned to Viking Pregame on the Northern Light Webcasting Network and NLWN 2.
Soon the weather will change and you'll be able to breathe in the clean fresh air of spring. And you know what comes right along with that. That's right, it will be time for Eau Claire Cavalier Baseball. Follow the Cavaliers all season long right here on the Northern Light Webcasting Network audio service and NLWN TV. Be sure to check out our website at www.northernlightwebcastingnetwork.com for our current broadcast schedule. You've been tuned to Viking Pregame with a look at today's Colfax Viking Boys game. This has been a presentation of the Northern Light Webcasting Network and NLWN 2. Stay tuned, coming up next is live Colfax Viking basketball. It happens to everyone eventually. Your computer goes on the fritz. Fear not, Sladen's Technology Services can help. When your computer decides to not cooperate, it can be very frustrating. Let Sladen's Technology Services keep you from wanting to drive your computer right off a cliff. Sladen's Technology Services supports business
Fantastic, yep.
They offer assistance with managed anti-malware, encrypted email, fast tech support, data backup, and recovery, and more. Call Sladen's Technology Services at 715-864-2833 and get the IT help you desire. Sladen's Technology Services is the official IT service for the Northern Light Webcasting Network. Colfax Viking Basketball is on the air.
Vikings steal the pass. This is Charlo driving down the left side of the lane, puts it up. It goes in and he draws the harm.
The Northern Light Webcasting Network and NLWN2 proudly present today's Colfax Viking Boys Varsity Basketball game.
Down to Jensen and on the right baseline, puts it up and in. This is what you were talking about a couple days ago, Dan. Jensen's got to put those shots up, and he's doing it.
Join us as we head out to the gym for today's Viking basketball.
Good evening and welcome to Glenwood City, where the Colfax Vikings boys have another Dun St. Croix Conference game tonight. On the road against the Hilltoppers, the Colfax Vikings are 3-3 on in the conference race, and they are 8-4 on the season. That puts Colfax in fourth place in the Dun St. Croix standings. Glenwood City has yet to win a conference game in 6 outings, and they are 2-9. And Dan, that kind of surprises me with the margin that there was in the JV game tonight, where Glenwood City was up on top.
Yeah, the Hilltoppers came out big in the JV game tonight. They're hitting their threes pretty good and good defense. Yeah, so the Colfax varsity team here, I think their goal tonight is to make sure they cover the baseline, on defense and get their rebounds and try to get to the line here in the second half and just come away with a win.
So glad you're joining us tonight. I'm Jay Fall here with Dan Petshaw, who you just heard from. Chris Olson is on the camera, and executive producer Rick Olson sitting in as well. We will come back with more about tonight's matchup and the teams involved in it. You're watching Colfax Viking Boys Basketball on the Northern Light Webcasting Network and NLWN2.
These are common New Year's resolutions, but your finances could probably stand to be leaner as well. Dairy State Bank will post tips all month on Facebook and Twitter to help you get your finances in shape. You can also access a library of information anytime in our online education center. Visit dairystatebank.com and click on the Education Center under the Resources tab. Dairy State Bank, banking on relationships. Member FDIC.
Are your animals feeling a little under the weather? Give the nice folks at Colfax Animal Hospital a call. Bruce Buckley is just what the doctor ordered. In fact, he is the doctor, and he's ready to help. That's the Colfax Animal Hospital. Give them a call at 715-962-3380.
Welcome back to Glenwood City. Tonight's Colfax High School basketball game is brought to you by the Colfax Animal Hospital. Let Dr. Buckley and his friendly staff take care of your pet. Dairy State Bank, where they're banking on relationships. Midwest Environmental Consultants, soil testers for the Chippewa Valley. Anderson Bridges, who have been manufacturing prefabricated steel truss bridges since 1989. Slayton's Technology IT provider for the Northern Light Webcasting Network. Mom's Restaurant and Pub in Colfax, comfort food the way Mom used to make it. And Fit Fam Nutrition of Colfax with drinks that taste as good as their names sound, plus they're healthy. Be sure to thank these fine sponsors by paying them a visit and doing some business with them. The Vikings come in here on a 2-game winning streak in the conference. They downed Boyceville on Monday night 68-50 and Plum City Elmwood 52-49 on Tuesday, both of those games in Colfax. As far as Glenwood City goes, in their last couple of games, they picked up one of their wins over Independence on Saturday by a score of 70-46. That game was here at Glenwood City, and then they fell to the Boyceville Bulldogs on Tuesday night, the night after Boyceville lost at Colfax. That was in Boyceville by a score of 75-49. Taking a look at the Vikings as a team. Let's see, we'll go right to the right page here. Colfax is outscoring their opponents 716-669. shooting 42% from the floor and 62% from the free throw line, while their opponents are 39% from the floor and 68% from the free throw line. Vikings are averaging about 30 rebounds a game, where their opponents have 26. So the Vikings, that's kind of the tail of the tape with them. Leading scorers for Colfax include Jack Charlo's averaging 18.7 points a game, Elijah Ensminger 15.8 points a game, and Jack is also the leading rebounder at 8.5 rebounds per game. Nick Jensen follows with 6.6, and Elijah Ensminger has about 4. Nick Jensen is also the third leading scorer for the Vikings with an average of 7.7 a game. We will now go to the public address announcer.
On behalf of the school district of Glenwood City and Colfax High School, welcome to tonight's boys basketball game. Tonight's game features the Vikings of Colfax and Northern Light Webcast Network. Please turn your attention to Glenwood City Senior Anthony Nelson for the reading of the sportsmanship address.
The WIAA, the Dunsink Corey Conference, Glenwood City High School, and Colfax High School require good sportsmanship for student athletes, coaches, and fans at education-based interscholastic events. We request your cooperation by supporting the participants and officials in a positive manner. Profanities, racial, sexist, or ethnic comments, or other intimidating or taunting actions or chants will not be tolerated and are ground for removal from the side of competition. Please enjoy the game in a positive manner.
Please rise if you are able and put your hats for the playing of the national anthem by the Glenwood City Pep Band, led by Mr. Matt Lamb. Hilltoppers are coached by Patrick Wilson, assisted by Nathan Hoffman and Hayden Smith. Tonight's officials are Casey Eckert, Colin Langness, and Cole Tappy.
And now you're all up to date as far as who's who for tonight's game. As we look on here, Glenwood City is in home white, Colfax in the red, and they will be moving from left to right as we look on here behind the scorers table at Glenwood City.
So Jack Charlo going up against Alec Anderson. And the tip goes up into the air, and then Elijah Ensminger comes up with it. He'll scoop pass it back to Kyle Irwin, and the Vikings will set it up. Over on the far left side, it goes to Blake Johnson, then back out to Charlo. And Johnson will take a three-pointer and drain it. So it's 3-0 Colfax, 17 and a half minutes to go in the first half. Ball quickly goes up the floor. Anthony Nelson for Glenwood City. He's caught in the corner, tosses it out to Anderson, back down on the left baseline to Quinn. Quinn's shot goes up. Charlo tries to get it out of there, and he does. Gets it up the floor to Ensminger. Ensminger drives to the free throw lane, off to the right corner to Johnson, into Jensen. Jensen up and is fouled on the way in. So Nick Jensen's going to get a pair of free throws here. Colfax leading 3-0, 17-10 left to go in the first half. First one up and in. And some substitutions for the Hilltoppers. Tyler Harrington, a sophomore, is going to come in now. He'll take his place next to Kyle Irwin up at the top of the key, along with Blake Johnson. Second free throw up and in, and it is a 5-0 Colfax lead, and full court pressure in the backcourt. Breaking it is Swenby, back down to Quinn, and the ball goes out of bounds. Last touched by Colfax. So the Hilltoppers will throw it in. Max Jansen underneath the basket on the right side. He'll put a high pass into Anderson. Down in the near corner to Nelson. Nelson's shot pops out. Jack Charlo right there. Fires it up the floor to Blake Johnson, who puts in a layup on the left side. 7-0 Colfax, 16:45 to go in the first half. Full court pressure applied to the Hilltoppers again. Alec Anderson out on the far side, back down to Jaden Quinn. And back out on the left wing to Max Jansen. He's going to set it up. Pass goes back in the middle to Nelson. Off on the near side to Quinn, and then down underneath. Anderson runs out of room, tripled up, caught on the baseline, gets it back out to Quinn, and then to Tyler Harrington. Shot bounces off, rebound pulled down by Blake Johnson. Johnson up the court, gives it to Charlo. Charlo caught on the baseline, back up to Johnson, top of the key to set things up to Kyle Irwin. Irwin driving around the right side of the arch, give and go to Ensminger. Ensminger heads toward the free throw line, dishes a pass off to Johnson. Johnson give and go to Irwin. Irwin driving in, fires back out to Johnson. And then out to Irwin. Irwin right wing into Jensen. Jensen looking for somebody to throw it to, gets out to Irwin. Irwin turnaround jumper from the free throw line, good! 9-0 Colfax, and Glenwood City takes a timeout. 15:25 to go in the first half. Colfax 9, Glenwood City 0. You're watching Colfax Viking Boys Basketball on the Northern Light Webcasting Network and NLWN 2.
When you have that craving for a home-cooked meal the way Mom used to make it, rest assured, you can still get that meal by going to Mom's Restaurant and Pub in Colfax. Mom's is open daily, serving breakfast and lunch, and don't forget dinner on Friday nights with Mom's famous fish fry. The coffee is always hot, the breakfast is always delicious, and lunch will put a smile on your face and in your stomach. 225 Bremer Avenue, Colfax. Call 715-962-4617. That's Mom's Restaurant and Pub.
To get your lawn or garden to perform like you want, you first need to know about your soil. That's where Midwest Environmental Consultants can help. Their soil testing service can give you a complete rundown on your soil's nutrition and health. They test for nitrogen levels, phosphorus, potash, micronutrients, minerals, pH, and organic matter. Let Midwest Environmental Consultants put you in control of your soil's health. Call Midwest Environmental Consultants at 608-468-2067. That's Midwest Environmental Consultants, soil testers for the Chippewa Valley.
Welcome back to Glenwood City.
And the Hilltoppers are going to throw it in from the stage down there. It is Anthony Nelson. Nelson to Jansen. Loses the ball. Ensminger picks it up, fires it out to Johnson, trying to get it back to Ensminger at the free throw line. Scurry for the ball, and it's picked up by Jansen of Glenwood City. He'll drive down to the left side, out on top to Alec Anderson. To Jansen, and they will set it up. Jansen goes out to Quinn. Back up in the middle, directing some traffic here. Fires off, free throw line extended left. To Quinn, back over to Jansen. Things bottled up down underneath by Colfax's defense. Now they fire a shot in. It goes to Anthony Nelson. Nelson on the baseline gets a pass over to Jansen. He'll put it up for the Hilltoppers' first 2 points of the night. It's 9-2 Colfax, 14:20 to go in the first half. It's Irwin. Passes to Ensminger. Ensminger looking around, waiting underneath. And he ends up bouncing the ball off the foot of Max Jansen, so Colfax will start over in front of the Glenwood City bench. Jay Fall and Dan Petchow with you, along with Chris Olson on the camera. Here at Glenwood City, Kyle Irwin between the jump circle and the key. Irwin, turn around, fires it underneath to Ensminger, or check that, that's Charlo. Charlo goes up for the shot and draws the foul. That's going to be charged to Jaden Quinn, senior guard for the Toppers. 9-2 Colfax. Jack's first shot falls short. The Northern Light Webcasting Network and NLWN TV are excited to once again be your home for Eau Claire Cavalier baseball. Follow the Cavaliers throughout the 2023 season on the Northern Light Webcasting Network and NLWN TV. Free throw missed, and Nick Jensen manages to pull it up off the floor and get it out to Elijah Ensminger. Two Toppers come down with it. Now they lose the ball. Ensminger is going to go up with it. And Ensminger is pushed on the way up. That's going to be a foul on Alec Anderson. Check that. Yeah, Ensminger's going to the free throw line. He's going to shoot two. That shot missed. Eau Claire has a new semi-pro football team, the Eau Claire Cowboys, and NLWN2, along with the Northern Light Webcasting Network. We're excited to be your broadcast home. Follow the Eau Claire Cowboys throughout the 2023 season on the Northern Light Webcasting Network and NLWN2. Second free throw also comes out, but fighting for the rebound is Charlo. Then it goes out on top to Ensminger. Back down on the right side to Johnson, over the top, but Charlo's there. He can't get it to fall, and Charlo is tied up. And actually fouled by Jaden Quinn of the Hilltoppers. That is his second.
That's a quick two for him.
Kyle Irwin's going to throw it in for the Vikings as Jackson Hallbach comes in. He's going to give a break to Jaden Quinn. Pass goes out on the far corner to Ensminger, and he'll bring it on into the middle to set things up. Ensminger dribbling in the middle to Irwin. Back over to Johnson, down the far corner to Jensen, into Charlo. Charlo back to Jensen. Jensen's going to go in, fire a pass out to Johnson. Up on the left side, now moving right. It's Irwin to Ensminger. Irwin gets it back. Irwin fires over to Jensen, has an open shot on the baseline and swishes it from 10 feet out. 11-2 Vikings, 12:55 to go in the first half. Anthony Nelson out of the backcourt, fires a hot one up there, and now it's picked off by Colfax's Nick Jensen. Jensen to Irwin, up the floor to Charlo, driving in, fouled on his way in again.
That's a quick two on Alec Anderson.
So on the free throw line, Jack Charlo for the Colfax Vikings. Join NLWN TV and the Northern Light Webcasting Network Tuesday night as the Viking girls play host to the Durand Panthers in a Dun St. Croix conference battle. And first free throw rolls out. Live coverage will begin with Viking pregame beginning at 6:50. That'll be followed by all the live play-by-play action. That's Colfax girls basketball Tuesday night on the Northern Light Webcasting Network and NLWN TV. Second free throw is good. It's 12-2 Vikings. So to throw it in for the Hilltoppers will be Morgan Eggert. Eggert can run the line, but he stays put and gets it 3/4 of the way up the court quickly into Jackson Hallback. Hallback takes the shot, and he is fouled on the way up, so he is going to get a couple of free throws. That one's going to be charged, it looks like, to Nick Jensen. Jensen sends up the first. That ball is just banging around there and out a lot.
We've shot 9 free throws, 10 of them, 3 of them made.
Ooh, that's a tough night from the charity stripe. Blake Johnson. Johnson between the jump circle and the key. Now we'll drive the left side down to Jensen on the baseline. He'll pop it up again. That one doesn't go. Ball tipped around. Jensen gets it back. He'll dish it out to Ensminger. Top of the key to Irwin. Irwin pulls out and they will set things up. Irwin drives down the left side. One-handed up and in. 14-2 Vikings. 12 minutes left first half. Eggert back and forth with Nelson. Eggert fires a quick pass down to the near corner to Eslin Swenby. Loose ball, rebounded by the Vikings to Charlo down along the far side. And Charlo loses control of it out of bounds, and the Hilltoppers take it back.
Colfax looking to press and push right away here in the first half.
On the baseline to throw it in will be Anthony Nelson, a senior forward for Glenwood City. Nelson dishes it into Jaden Quinn. Quinn quickly up the sidelines. He's going to pop it up from 8 and put it in. 14-4 Vikings. Colfax quickly up the floor. Ensminger holding it, free throw line extended left. Ensminger fires down the opposite corner to Irwin. Irwin to Johnson. Johnson gives it back to Irwin. Irwin will drive, give it out to Ensminger. Ensminger dishes out to a wide open Blake Johnson, who drains the three-pointer. And Colfax, or Glenwood City, wants to talk about it again. We have 11:07 remaining first half. Colfax boys 17, Glenwood City 4. You're watching Colfax Vikings boys basketball on the Northern Light Webcasting Network and NLWN 2.
Anderson Bridges, located in Colfax, Wisconsin, has been manufacturing prefabricated steel truss bridges since 1989. With hundreds of bridges supplied nationwide, we suspect you've crossed our path. It may have been on a pedestrian or bicycle bridge, or how about a snowmobile, ATV, or golf course bridge? Anderson Bridges is likely to have manufactured it. Founded in 1989, Anderson Bridges has been a family-owned company since its beginning and are proud to support the Colfax Vikings.
Join us at the Northern Light Webcasting Network and NLWN TV for exciting Colfax High School girls basketball. Our next game will be on Tuesday, January 24th, when the Vikings will host the Durand Panthers. Live coverage on the Northern Light Webcasting Network audio service and on NLWN TV begins with Viking pregame at 6:50 p.m. That's live Colfax Viking girls basketball on the Northern Light Webcasting Network and NLWN TV on Tuesday, January 24th.
We're back at Glenwood City with the Viking boys. And Anthony Nelson throws it in. He'll get the pass back up the floor from Max Jansen. Back over to Tyler Harrington. Down in the near corner, it goes out in the middle to Nelson. Nelson out to Jansen. Jansen fires an air ball from around three-point land, and that is going back to Colfax.
Yeah, more pressure by Colfax Vikings, creating turnovers.
Vikings bringing out of the backcourt. It is Irwin. Give and go to Jensen. Jensen's going to just drive along the right side of the lane, pop it over to Johnson, top of the key. Ensminger catches the front iron. Rebound goes into the hands of Max Jansen. Jansen up the floor for the Hilltoppers. Jansen to Hallbach. To Nelson. Back up to Hallbach. Down to the left baseline. Popping it up is Swenby, and that shot missed. Quickly up the floor goes to Ensminger, and out of position on defense was number 5, Tyler Harrington, picks up a foul for the Hilltoppers. That's his first. Glenwood City has 6 fouls as a team. The Vikings tonight have 1. So Colfax will go into the bonus on the next Glenwood City foul here. Inbounds, it goes into Charlo. Charlo goes up. He is fouled by Esden Swenby. So Jack will shoot a couple of free throws. Or is this 1-1? Let's see. Signals from the officials here. One of the officials at the scorer's table. First one in. Referee over at the table talking to the scorer here. And now the officials talking with each other.
Yeah, I suppose I got to get this right if it was 1-1 or 2 shots. If it was a 1-on-1, Glenwood City could have played the ball. Oh, wait a second now. Do we have a technical?
We must. Yeah. Technical foul. We'll have to see where that was called.
I think what it was after the contact. If there was something said.
Those added words. Oh. Technical fouls on Colfax? Okay.
Because Charlotte was at the line, so we figured it was for them.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, so a free throw up and in. It's just 12 white, so it's just a different team going for it. Max Jansen and the Hilltoppers will get the ball. I wonder with the discussion at the scores table if there wasn't something wrong with a number or something. I don't know. We can ask Mark Knoll after the game. He'll be able to tell us.
Yeah.
So Glenwood City's going to have the ball back as well. Colfax still has a huge 17-5 lead, 10-12 to go in the first half. And to throw it in Anderson. Anderson gets it back into Jansen. Or check that was Eggert that threw it in. He'll get the pass back and he'll give it to Nelson. Opposite side, it goes to Alec Anderson. Anderson doubled up. He's going to go up anyway and called for a travel. 9:56 left first half. 17-5 Colfax leading Glenwood City. Medine driving it up the floor for the Vikings. Dishes the pass off in the far corner to Aiden Fisher, and he'll fall forward with a nice baseline layup and stretch the Colfax lead 19-5. Now full court pressure on Glenwood City right away, and the ball tipped around, but the Hilltoppers keep it. Eggert fires down in the near corner to Anderson. Anderson goes cross court, but in his pass hit the baseline. So ball out of bounds. Colfax gets it.
Yeah, this full court press by Colfax is Glenwood City kind of pushing a little extra, which is creating turnovers.
Medine bringing it up for the Vikings to Charlo. Charlo, give and go out to Hoffman. Back down to Charlo on the baseline. He'll pop it up from 10, miss it, and it's rebounded by Nelson for the Hilltoppers. Nelson bringing it up himself, gives it to Eggert. Then down underneath it goes back to Nelson. Nelson driving on Charlo, and Charlo's going to get a foul on that one, moving along with him.
Should be his first.
That sends Anthony Nelson, the senior forward, to a line for Glenwood City. Coming up on 9 minutes remaining in the first half. And bounces big off the back iron and then drops right through for one. Nelson still on the line for the Toppers with the second free throw. Goes up and makes that one as well. 19-7 Colfax Vikings. Coming up the floor with it, Medine bounces it over to Hoffman. Hoffman looking to go somewhere with it, will go up to the basket off the top of the window. That's going to go off the hands of Aiden Fisher. They're going to say no, it's going to Glenwood City. Or it is going to Colfax off Glenwood City. Medine under the basket on the left side, trying to get it into Jensen, stolen away by Eggert. Eggert wide open, puts in a layup on the right side. 19-9 Colfax. Medine brings it up for Colfax. Medine doubled up on, lets the ball fly. That's going out of bounds. And Glenwood City will get it.
Yeah, now a little pressure by Glenwood City.
Eight and a half minutes remain. Colfax up by 10, 19-9 over Glenwood City. Inbounds to Jansen. Jansen across the center jump circle, top of the key, pulls it back a little bit. Over to Eggert, free throw line extended left. Eggert being guarded closely by Johnson. Back out to Hallback. Down underneath, left open. Eggert puts in the basket right underneath on the left side, and the gap is narrowing. It's Colfax 19, Glenwood City 11. Pass going halfway down to Ensminger. To Irwin, back to Ensminger up top. He'll look. Fires in underneath to Jensen. Jensen with a nice layup on the right side. 21-11, Colfax.
Jensen has 6.
Ball and flying up the court and out of bounds. Jackson Hallbach couldn't bring it in, so Colfax gets the ball. Blake Johnson. Inbounds to Kyle Irwin. Irwin to Jensen. Hands it off to Johnson. Johnson loses the ball. Glenwood City snatches it back. Max Jansen brings it up the floor for the Toppers. Jansen out to Eggert. Eggert for 3. Rolls off the rim. Jack Charlo. Rebound quickly up the floor to Ensminger. Ensminger dishes off to Johnson. Johnson out to Irwin, and he'll have to go way back to the corner but get it. Irwin's going to drive in, pop it over to Jensen. Jensen will dribble it once, go up, and fouled on the way in. Nick Jensen will get a couple of free throws as he was in the act of shooting. .657 remains. First half, it's 21-11 Colfax. First free throw, good. Join us on NLWN2 in the Northern Light Webcasting Network Thursday night as we bring you Colfax Vikings Boys Basketball. The Vikings will play host to the Mondovi Buffaloes. Viking pregame will begin at 6:50 with live play-by-play action following. That's Colfax Vikings Boys Basketball Thursday night on the Northern Light Webcasting Network and NLWN2. Jensen's second free throw is also good, and Jansen will get the pass up the floor for Glenwood City, and it'll go back out on top to Eggert. Eggert will drive down underneath, shoot it over the hoop, and it's rebounded by Irwin for Colfax. He'll get a baseball pass up the floor to Johnson, underneath to Jensen. Jensen going up again. Jensen is going to be called for a player control foul. That is his second. Colfax has 8 fouls now. Glenwood City has 4. Or check that, other way around. Colfax has 4, Glenwood City 8. Driving in, Alec Anderson. Anderson puts it up, falls short. Rebounded by Charlo. Charlo, baseball pass down to Ensminger. Ensminger with a layup on the right side.
Yeah, we'll see how long this pace can stay for both teams.
Jansen for Glenwood City dribbles in between all of the Colfax Vikings, puts the basket in, and is fouled on the way in. That is going to be charged to Nick Jensen, and he quickly picks up foul number 3. So Jansen try to finish off the three-point play. Colfax has a 12-point lead, yet 25-13. And finishes it off with a good free throw. Irwin bringing it up for Colfax. Crosses the timeline. Up high, give and go to Charlo. Charlo outside to Irwin. Irwin pops it up, one-handed off the glass and good.
Tyler, 6 points.
Throw in goes to Harrington, and then baseballed up the floor to Quinn. Quinn into Nelson. Nelson misses, and it's rebounded by Charlo. He'll zing it over to Irwin, up the floor to Johnson. Johnson down underneath to Fisher. Fisher hits the side of the backboard, rebounded by Nelson. Nelson brings it out for the Toppers. Eggert out on the left side to Jason Quinn. Quinn over to Eggert. Eggert back to Quinn. Left open. Harrington going up, misses the shot. Couple of Hilltoppers on the floor. And they were the last ones to touch the ball. Colfax will get it back. Mitch Medine will check back in for the Vikings.
Yeah, we were talking about the other night. It was a slugfest in Colfax against Boyceville, and now it's a slugfest in Glenwood City.
Yeah, just moving it down the road a little bit. Off on the right corner to Johnson, 3 ball. It rolls off the top of the backboard. Goes out of bounds. They'll say that Glenwood City touched it last, so the Vikings will have it underneath their basket on the left side. It is Medine. Medine tosses it up on top to Ensminger. Ensminger into the middle of the floor. Drives the right side of the lane, pops it up off the glass, rolls off, no good. Charlo reload, good. 29-14 Colfax, 4.5 minutes to go in the first half. Eggert in the backcourt, still a relentless full court pressure by Colfax, but a foul is going to be charged to Blake Johnson on his way up the floor.
I think the foul was on Medine. Mitch Medine.
Oh, check that. Yep, sorry about that. Inbounds, it goes to Jansen. Jansen, top of the key, trying to get in. He'll just dish it back to Quinn. Down in the near corner. Back out on top, and it looks like we've got a travel call on the Hilltoppers. So Colfax will bring it back up the floor. 4:12 left, first half, 29-14. Colfax leading Glenwood City. Charlo fires halfway down to Ensminger, left side, out on top to Johnson. Johnson to Charlo, down underneath, doubled up on was Ensminger, and on his second effort puts it up and in.
Ensminger has 4 points.
Glenwood City still fighting with a tough pressure, full court pressure by Colfax. Up the floor it goes to Swin, and a bucket by the Hilltoppers. They can quickly break that press, get it up the floor. It's Ensminger. Free throw line right, he'll get the pass back from Dean. Down inside to Charlo. Charlo finds a spot, makes a move, puts in the basket, and draws a foul.
He's got 9 points so far.
So Jack Charlo's going to shoot one as Colfax leads 33-16 over the Glenwood City Hilltoppers.
That was Jaden's third foul.
Rebound pulled out by the Hilltoppers. That's Hallbach as he'll give it to Eggert. Eggert driving into the middle. Fires it down in the far corner to Jansen. Jansen from the lane looking to go with it somewhere. Tosses it back out on top to Eggert. Eggert will go down the right side. And we'll have a foul charge to Aiden Fisher of the Vikings. So checking in for the Hilltoppers, Tyler Harrington coming back in along with Anthony Nelson. They're going to spell Jaden Quinn and Esden Swenby. So on the free throw line for Glenwood City, Morgan Eggers. Shot up and in. He'll get a second. Coming up on 3 minutes remaining, first half. 33-17. That one bounces out. Fisher trying to grab it. Hilltoppers get it back. Nelson goes up. And they tampered with him on the way up shooting, so he's going to get a couple of free throws.
Falls on Charlo. His second.
Nelson on the free throw line. First one up in.
He's 3 for 3 from the line tonight.
And he'll look skyward. Send the second one up. That one will roll around and go down. 33-19. Colfax still with a good-sized lead. Give and go to Ensminger. He'll look at one from three-point land and dribble it back out. Ensminger looks to the sideline for guidance. And will move it to the right side this time. He'll hand it off to Mitch Medine. Medine out to Fisher. Fisher driving in, loses the ball. Scurry for the top of it, and they try to, it's going to be jump ball, and it will be possession, Glenwood City. Coming up on 2.5 minutes left in the first half. Inbound throw goes into Jansen. Jansen called for a player control foul, trying to drive his way in there.
Yeah, good job at 34. Colton Hoffman to take that one. That was drive down the lane and big contact.
Ensminger out of the backcourt for the Vikings. Ensminger drives to the right side, dishes it off in the corner to Fisher. Fisher back to Ensminger. Ensminger will check things out, try to go somewhere with it. We've got a little extra pushing and shoving under there. Shot missed, rebound pulled out of there by Jackson Hallbach, and then it's stolen back by Colton Hoffman. Hoffman to Ensminger. Ensminger in the middle to Medine. Medine from the free throw line goes up, fouled, shot, or the shot was blocked, I'll put it that way. And now trying to scurry back to get it is Medine, and it goes back onto the floor.
Heads up play by Morgan Eggert to put it off Hoffman and get the ball back.
1:42 left in the first half. Not sure who gets the takedown on that one, and Colfax wants a timeout. 1:42 left to go here in the first half. 33-19 Colfax leading Glenwood City. You're watching Colfax Viking Boys Basketball on the Northern Light Webcasting Network and NLWN2.
Join us on NLWN2 for exciting Colfax High School Boys Basketball.
This is what we came in for.
Our next game will be on Thursday, January 26th, when the Vikings play host to the Mondovi Buffaloes. Live coverage on the Northern Light Webcasting Network audio service and on NLWN2 begins with Viking pregame at 6:50 p.m. That's live Colfax Viking Boys Basketball on the Northern Light Webcasting Network and NLWN2 on Thursday, January 26th.
Colfax Boys 33, Glenwood City 19. Glenwood City with the ball, 1:42 left first half. Ball will be handed to Morgan Eggert at half court. He's holding it high, gets it inside to Max Jansen. Jansen back to Eggert. Eggert trying to turn around jumper, doesn't work, and that is rebounded by Fisher. Out to Ensminger, free throw line right. He's going to drive in, and is going to be a foul charge to Glenwood City's Morgan Eggert.
His first.
Elijah Ensminger, 5'9" junior guard on the free throw line for Colfax. 1:29 left first half. Shot number one, nothing but net. Eau Claire has a new semi-pro football team. The Eau Claire Cowboys and NLWN2, along with the Northern Light Webcasting Network, are excited to be your broadcast home. Follow the Eau Claire Cowboys throughout the 2023 season on the Northern Light Webcasting Network and NLWN2. Second free throw goes in as well. Up the floor goes to Nelson. Nelson tries a shot, falls short, reload. Nice block by Colton Hoffman. Out in the corner, that's going back Glenwood City. Glenwood City. And let's see.
We had a technical.
I think we have another one, yep.
I'm not for sure where that came from.
Yeah, I don't.
He was standing out of bounds, waiting to throw in the ball. I don't know. Missed something.
Elijah Ensminger going to shoot the technical foul free throw shots, and first one is good. Colfax gets the ball back. And second one falls short. Alec Anderson's going to come in.
Okay. I saw what the ref said. He grabbed him by one of the Colfax guys by the shirt and shoved him away.
That'll do it. Ensminger in. Drives in, comes back out on the left side. To Johnson, back into Ensminger, rolls off the top, no good on a nice layup attempt. Out of the backcourt for the Toppers, Max Jansen. Jansen trying to go around a screen set by Ellickson. Johnson goes up, and Ensminger ends up with the ball for Colfax. Ensminger drives right side, and Ensminger, shot missed, banged around, and we're going to have a foul charge to Colfax's Blake Johnson. We have 40 seconds left in the first half, and we're going to go to the other end to shoot a 1+1. And so it is Jackson Hallbach shooting that one, and makes it. He will get another. And second one goes in as well.
Jackson has 2 points tonight for Glenwood City.
Bringing it out of the backcourt for the Vikings, Elijah Ensminger. Ensminger out to Johnson.
They can play for one.
Johnson in the middle, dribbling it around, feeds Ensminger down on the left side. Ensminger outside the jump circle, drives the right side, dishes it off to Yerington. Yerington pops up from 5, shot blocked, no foul. Yerington tips it back, putting it up, banging around, no good. Reload on the buzzer is good for Aiden Fisher. In great position as the first half comes to an end. Colfax 38, Glenwood City 21. We invite you to stay tuned now for Viking halftime. You're watching Colfax Viking Boys Basketball on the Northern Light Webcasting Network and NLWN 2.
Feel the beat of nature at a park or forest near you. Find a forest and music inspired by nature at discovertheforest.org.
Time now for Viking Halftime, with today's Viking profile and other halftime entertainment. That's coming up right after this.
Time now for Viking Profile, where we take a closer look at one of the Colfax Viking players. And now, Viking Profile.
Today on Viking Profile, we're going to get to know Mitch Medine. And Mitch, you're a senior here at Colfax. We know you play basketball, but what are other activities you're involved in at school?
I'm in baseball and National Honor Society.
Okay, very good. A little bit of scholarship and a little bit of athletics. That's a good mix. So when did you start playing basketball, and what kind of an experience has it been for you?
I started playing in second grade, and it's just been a good experience getting to know my friends better and participate in activities with them.
So what's the most important thing you've learned playing basketball?
Probably just to learn how to get through struggles. Like if we're down, figure out how to pick us back up.
So when you're not playing basketball, or you're not here at school, what are some other things that keep you occupied or busy?
I fish quite a bit, hang out with my girlfriend, and then I hunt too.
You want to give a shout out to that girlfriend?
Macy Harvey.
Okay, all right. A few rapid fire questions for you. First of all, this is the one, everybody gets this one. Pie, ice cream, cake, or cookies?
Cookies.
Which kind?
Chocolate chip.
Boy, that's what everybody Now, do you like the ones with nuts or without?
Without nuts.
Without nuts, okay. Homemade or store-bought?
Homemade.
Yeah, nothing compares, does it? No. Okay. Your favorite color and why?
Red, and I don't know, I just picked it out when I was little and stuck with it.
Okay. Now, if you could have a superpower, what do you think that would be and why?
Probably super speed.
Super speed, okay. Now, if you have super speed as your power, of course you have to have a superhero name to go with that. What do you think that might be?
Probably Mini Flash, because I'm pretty small. So.
Okay, the Mini Flash, all right. Favorite NBA or WNBA team?
The Bucks.
Of course, being here in Wisconsin, almost has to be, right? Any favorite college team?
The Badgers.
All right, same reason. Yeah, okay. Is there a basketball player at any level throughout your life that's kind of inspired the way you play your game?
Stephen Curry.
All right, very good. We're talking with Mitch Medine today on Viking Profile. And Mitch, what are your plans for after high school?
I plan to attend the UMD, the college in Duluth, and yeah, I think I'm going into civil engineering, and then we'll see where that takes me.
All right, very good. How about a shout out to your family?
Shout out to Bryce Medine, Stacy Medine, and Emma Medine.
And when people are watching Viking games and they want to find that Mitch Medine on the floor, where are they going to find you? What number are you going to be wearing?
I'm going to be wearing number 2. I'll be the shortest guy on the court.
Okay, look for that little guy out there. All right, we want to thank Mitch Medine for joining us today on Viking Profile. Coming up, more Viking Halftime.
You've been listening to Viking Profile. This has been a presentation of the Northern Light Webcasting Network.
If you're buzzed and doing this, to make yourself feel okay to drive,
ZWX.
You're not okay to drive.
YGKLVW. Regular.
Jason, let's go see your room.
No, that's not right. How was it? Is it good?
You've been tuned to Viking Halftime. Stay tuned. Coming up is second half action of today's game on the Northern Light Webcasting Network and NLWN2.
The family's visit to the forest inspired a beautiful question. Mother, mother, am I a tree? You tell me to stand tall. You tell me to stay rooted. I think I am a tree. My child, of course you are. But what kind of tree will you be? The kind to hug or the kind to climb? Doesn't matter what you choose, so long as you choose to be a tree that's kind.
Make the forest part of your story at a park near you. Find one at discovertheforest.org.
Welcome back to Glenwood City at halftime. The Vikings lead the Hilltoppers by a score of 38-21. Dan, how did we get there? Or you need a little minute there?
Nope, I got it.
All right.
Here's the scores for Glenwood City. Their leading scorer right now is number 25, Anthony Nelson, with 6. We have Max Jansen with 5. We have Morgan Eggert with 5. And Jackson Hallback with 2. For the Colfax Vikings, their leading scorer right now is Jack Charlo with 9, followed by Blake Johnson and Nick Johnson with 8. We have Elijah Jensminger with 7. Kyler Owens got 6. And Aiden Fisher has 4. 38-21.
Colfax out in front, and we will have second half action coming your way shortly. You're watching Colfax Viking Boys Basketball on the Northern Light Webcasting Network and NLWN2.
On those days when you're hankering for something that's delicious and nutritious, simply stop by FitFam Nutrition in Colfax. They serve Herbalife meal replacement shakes, metabolism-boosting teas and protein coffees. They taste as good as they sound, and they're healthy. Come and visit the Bentons and let them prepare for you a simply sweet treat, or something for the chocoholic or coffee lover in you. FitFam is a slam dunk. That's FitFam Nutrition, complete with one-on-one wellness coaching and business opportunities. 1020 University Avenue in Colfax.
Mom's Restaurant and Pub in Colfax has just what you need when you have that craving for a home-cooked meal the way Mom used to make it. Mom's is open from 7 a.m. to 3 p.m. daily and until 9 on Fridays with a complete breakfast menu. Lunch includes sandwiches, salads, wraps, and burgers, along with Mom's comfort food favorites, and don't forget dinner on Fridays with Mom's famous fish fry. The coffee always hot, the breakfast always delicious, and lunch puts a smile on your face. 225 Bremer Avenue, Colfax. Call 715-962-4617. That's Mom's Restaurant and Pub in Colfax.
Join NLWN TV and the Northern Light Webcasting Network Tuesday night as the Viking girls play host to the Durand Panthers in a Dunn St. Croix Conference battle. Live coverage will begin with Viking pregame beginning at 6:50. That'll be followed by all the live play-by-play action. That's Colfax girls basketball Tuesday night on the Northern Light Webcasting Network and NLWN TV. On Thursday night, the boys will be back in action after this one. They'll get some time to practice and that sort of thing, and they will play host to the Mondovi Buffaloes Thursday night. Again, Viking pregame will begin at 6:50. Live play-by-play action following Colfax Viking Boys Basketball Thursday night here on the Northern Light Webcasting Network and NLWN2. Vikings are going to start with the ball here in the second half. They lead 38-21. Jay Fall, Dan Petchow, Chris Olson on the camera, executive producer Rick Olson, all with you here at Glenwood City. To throw it in for the Vikings will be Kyle Irwin. He'll toss it into Jack Charlo, and away we go. Charlo immediately doubled up on. Gives it to Irwin down underneath. Ensminger hits the rim, and we're going to have and that ball will be awarded to Glenwood City as it looked like Jack Charlo touched it and was out of bounds. Eggert tosses it in to Max Jansen. Up the floor to Alec Anderson. Anderson pulls back to the far corner, dishes it off to Nelson. Nelson will drive in, tripled up on by the Vikings. He'll get a pass out to Jaden Quinn, stolen away by Ensminger. Ensminger trying to get it into Charlo, and then it gets out to Irwin via Jensen. Three-pointer. 21-41. Glenwood City trailing Colfax. Alec Anderson drives in. Has to move around. Jensen gets over the top of him, puts in the bucket. Vikings bringing it up the floor. It's Irwin. Irwin down underneath to Charlo. Charlo to Jensen. Jensen layup on the right side for two. 16:55 left. Vikings with a 20-point lead. And ball gets loose, picked up by Ensminger. Ensminger fires it out to Johnson. Johnson for three, misses, rebounded by Nelson. Nelson quickly down the floor to Jansen. Jansen tripled up on. Has to go to Eggert. Eggert up high on the right side, gets it to Jansen. Jansen out to Nelson, over the top, no good. Nelson still dribbling it, and Jensen grabs it out of there for the Vikings. And up the floor to Ensminger with a layup from Johnson on the assist. And the Hilltoppers want to talk about it. 16-10 left second half, 45-23 Colfax. You're listening or watching Colfax Viking Boys Basketball on the Northern Light Webcasting Network and NLWN2.
Are your pooch's proportions putting on pounds? Or is your kitty's constitution constantly complaining? Well, stop by and see the friendly folks at the Colfax Animal Hospital. Dr. Bruce Buckley and his staff will be happy to help you get your family friend back on the road to healthy living. That's the Colfax Animal Hospital. Call them at 715-962-3380.
Welcome back to Glenwood City. Colfax leading the Hilltoppers 45-23 in Dunn St. Croix Conference Boys Basketball action. Glenwood City's going to throw it in. It's Morgan Eggert on the baseline to Harrington. Eggert Still in the backcourt, dishes it off to Jansen. Jansen to Harrington, up the floor to Eggert. Eggert caught on the baseline. Back out to Harrington. Shot blocked and falls to the hands of Jack Charlo. Charlo up the floor to Ensminger. Down on the near side to Irwin. Back out to Johnson to Ensminger. Irwin, free throw line left, alley-oops it into Jensen. He'll put it off the glass on the left side and in. 47-23, Colfax with the lead. Glenwood City experiencing full court pressure again. Eggert up the floor goes to Jansen. Shot missed for Anderson. And we're going to have a jump ball. It's possession, Glenwood City. Of course, now the Vikings still in red, but moving right to left as you look on your screen, as our vantage point is behind the scorers table. Inbounds, it goes in to Anderson from Eggert. Anderson, reverse layup right side, good, right to left. Colfax brings it up the floor. Irwin to Johnson. Bounces it in the corner to Charlo for three. Oh! Bounces around and down.
Charlo has 12.
Glenwood City with an over and back as the Eggert had that ball passed where he had to grab behind him to get it. And just kind of gives Caleb Klinger, a sophomore, a little rub on the head and says, oh well. Glenwood City shuffling around down underneath. They're looking at Jaden Quinn on the bench. They had action stopped. Irwin to Charlo. Give and go to Ensminger. Ensminger gets it up on top, fires it off to Irwin. Irwin dishes it off to Jensen. Jensen bangs it in for a pair. 52-25 Vikings.
14 for Jensen.
It's up the floor to Alec Anderson. Anderson into Eggert. Eggert trying to go around Charlo. Doesn't get there. His ball is tipped back to Eggert. Eggert into Jansen. Jansen doesn't have enough room. Vikings with it. Scurry, then it will go back to Anderson. Anderson dishes it back out to Elin Anderson. Shot missed by Alec Anderson. Ball goes out of bounds. It's going to Colfax. That was a series of a lot of shots going up and nothing dropping for the Hilltoppers.
Yeah, Hilltoppers finally getting inside. Just can't get it to fall.
Irwin out of the backcourt. Irwin into Charlo. Charlo on the baseline. Basket will be canceled. He is called for offensive foul.
That's Jack's third foul.
A foul for Colfax, none yet in the second half here for Glenwood City as we're inside 14 minutes to go in the ball game. Jansen dribbles it across the 10-second line, goes out to Klinger. Klinger out to Quinn. Quinn to Nelson in the far corner, up to Klinger. Back down underneath, it goes to Nelson. Nelson trying to fire it back opposite corner to Klinger, and it flies out of bounds. And we have a line change for the Vikings, it looks like. Inbounds throw gets into Charlo, Ben Charlo. Got to clarify that. Mitch Medine out of the backcourt. Medine up high on the right side. Give and go to Fisher. Fisher back to Medine. Into Fisher. Medine looks at one, back to Fisher. Fisher and Medine back and forth over on the far side. The right wing back up to Fisher. Dished it down underneath, and it goes to a wide open. It looks like we're going to have an offensive foul. Charge to Ben Charlo, as the officials thought he took a little poke when he went up, and they got him for it. Eggert across the 10-second line. On the baseline, flips it over to Sweeney, and that one won't drop. It's rebounded by Fisher for the Vikings. He loses it, but was still in the backcourt. To Yarrington. He'll move toward the middle, shut down, and they'll go inside to Hoffman. Hoffman off the glass. That one rolls off, no good. Ball tipped. It's going to Glenwood City. 12:20 remaining, second half, 52-25. Colfax leading Glenwood City. Out of the backcourt, Morgan Eggert. Right side it goes to Anderson. Anderson out to Nelson. Tries a reverse layup, doesn't go. Rebounded by Quinn. He'll put it up and in. Vikings bring it up the floor. It's Mason Yarrington. Yarrington dishes it off to Jensen. Back to Yarrington. He'll look at a three ball. He'll put an alley-oop pass up to Medine. Medine, cross court to Fisher. Fisher, a layup way off the top of the window, and it goes for two.
Fisher at 6.
Up the floor, it's Eggert. Eggert crosses the center jump circle. Eggert down to Quinn. Into Nelson. Nelson will make the basket, or check that. That's Alec Anderson. And he is fouled on that play by Mitch Medine. That's Mitch's second foul. And that ball wasn't sure if it was going to go down, but it did. 54-30, a 24-point Colfax lead. Ben Charlo and Mitch Medine working it for Colfax. Medine stops free throw line right, dishes it back to Yarrington, and then gets it back. And Medine gets it back. Goes into Ben Charlo. Charlo up over the top with a 7-footer. 56-30. We're under 11 minutes to go in the ball game. Eggert out to Nelson, back down in the far corner to Harrington. And stolen away by the Vikings' Aiden Fisher. Now the Glenwood City trying to steal it back, and coming back to get it out of there is Ben Charlo, or check that, that's Medine. Into Hoffman, and three-point shot missed. It's rebounded by Glenwood City's Morgan Eggert. And a foul's going to be called on Aiden Fisher reaching in. Ball's going to the side. And we have a timeout on the floor. 10:25 remaining, second half. Colfax 56, Glenwood City 30. You're watching Colfax Vikings Boys Basketball on the Northern Light Webcasting Network and NLWN 2.
January is Financial Wellness Month. Weight loss and physical fitness are common New Year's resolutions, but your finances could probably stand to be leaner as well. Dairy State Bank will post tips all month on Facebook and Twitter to help you get your finances in shape. You can also access a library of information anytime in our online education center. Visit DairyStateBank.com and click on the Education Center under the Resources tab. Dairy State Bank, banking on relationships. Member FDIC.
The Northern Light Webcasting Network and NLWN TV are excited to once again be your home for Eau Claire Cavalier baseball. Follow the Cavaliers throughout the 2023 season on the Northern Light Webcasting Network and NLWN TV. Morgan Eggert puts it into Max Jansen. Eggert will dribble it to the center. Doubled up on, gets it to Nelson. Out of the near corner to Anderson, back out to Jansen. Jansen trying to get it back in there, and he'll fire it out to Anderson for three. Rolls around out, no good. Mason Yarrington there with a rebound. Up the floor, it's Medine. Medine out to Yarrington for three. Swishes it! 59-30. Colfax with a 29-point lead and 9:45 to go in the ball game. It's Anderson to Eggert. Eggert drives the baseline, dishes it back to Nelson. Nelson scoops it back to Anderson, to Eggert. Back in the middle to Anderson. Anderson out to Harrington, and a timeout. Nope, let's see. No, I think the ball went out of bounds. Colfax should get it back.
Yeah. Glenwood City just threw it out of bounds.
Medine dumps it over to Hoffman. Ball stolen away by the Toppers. It's Tyler Harrington. Dishes it out to Eggert. Eggert trying to go up. Player control foul. They're going to say Colton Hoffman got his position, and the foul's going to be on Morgan Eggert.
Yeah, Colton Hoffman. I swear he must come up with bruises the next day because he takes shot after shot. Takes a lot of guts.
A lot of ice from the trainers.
Yeah.
Medine driving in, fires it to Hoffman. Hoffman's going to drive the lane out to Fisher. Medine will look at one, back over to Fisher. Free throw line left. And to Hoffman. Back down to the corner. Yarrington for three. Hits the rim, rolls out. Rebounded by Anderson. Anderson fires to the far corner to Harrington, left open for three. That one bounces around and out. Jump ball, possession, Colfax. So they'll hand the ball off to Charlo. Charlo to Medine. Bounces it in the middle to Hoffman. Back out to Fisher. Free throw line left. Catches the back iron. Rebounded by Glenwood City. Alec Anderson. Anderson out to Harrington. Harrington goes up off the window and good. 59-32. Colfax experiencing full court pressure. Fisher out to Ben Charlo. Three-point attempt rolls off, but going out of bounds. It will be brought back by Glenwood City. So Morgan Eggert's going to throw it in on the baseline. To Max Jensen to start things out. Jensen back to Eggert. To Harrington. Down in the lane to Quinn. Quinn turn around, or check that. That's Max Jansen. Jansen for the bucket. Blake Johnson fires it off to Ensminger. To Johnson in the middle to Jensen. Back out to Johnson. Johnson dishes it out to, it ends up to Ensminger from Charlo. Jack Charlo. Back in the middle, Jensen up, good. Jensen from 10, 61-34, Colfax, 7:15 remaining in the ball game. Eggert between the jump circle and the wheel, fires it off to Quinn. Quinn to Harrington. Harrington out to Anderson. Top of the key out to Eggert for two. He was just inside the arch. And Glenwood City wants a timeout. 6:54 remaining second half. Colfax 61, Glenwood City 36. You're watching Colfax Viking Boys Basketball on the Northern Light Webcasting Network and NLWN2.
If you've been admiring the freshly groomed look of a baseball field, or the stunning appearance of a golf course, remember you too can have a lawn with the same beauty by simply calling Midwest Environmental Consultants. Their professional lawn care experts can bring your lawn to its full beauty and appearance. Call Midwest Environmental Consultants at 608-468-2067. Let Midwest Environmental Consultants help make your lawn the showplace of the neighborhood.
Join us at the Northern Light Webcasting Network and NLWN TV for exciting Colfax High School girls basketball. Our next game will be on Tuesday, January 24th, when the Vikings will host the Durand Panthers. Live coverage on the Northern Light Webcasting Network audio service and on NLWN TV begins with Viking pregame at 6:50 p.m. That's live Colfax Viking girls basketball on the Northern Light Webcasting Network and NLWN TV on Tuesday, January 24th.
Welcome back to Glenwood City. The Colfax Vikings lead the Hilltoppers 61-36, 6:54 left in the ball game. Kyle Irwin out of the backcourt for the Vikings. Irwin to Johnson, back into Jensen, over to Ensminger for three. Catches the back iron, bounces out, rebounded by the Hilltoppers, Edston Swenby. Back up to Eggert. Eggert back to Swenby, or Nelson that is. And we're going to have a foul called on 2-3, Blake Johnson. That's Colfax's fifth foul of the second half. Glenwood City has one. Out on top, it's Tyler Harrington. Drains it from let's see.
He has
19 points out. Sorry.
He has 5 points. So.
Wow. Out on the edge, Blake Johnson. In the middle, passes it to Ensminger. Ensminger is going to be called for a player control foul. Morgan Eggert's going to throw it in for Glenwood City. Eggert into Nelson, back to Eggert. Back out to Jansen. To Eggert in the middle. Eggert up high on the left side, out to Anderson. Anderson down to Nelson. Up on top to Eggert. Eggert drives to the baseline, tosses it back out to Anderson. Up to Harrington, now back on baseline left. It goes to Nelson again. Ball gets loose. Jensen trying to stop him there. Driving up Nelson. Underneath, Anderson too far under, can't get it. Baseball pass up the floor, now it goes right back to Glenwood City. Max Jansen puts it up, misses the shot, rebounded by Nelson, up and in. 61-41, Colfax by 20. Irwin across the 10-second line. Irwin in the middle to Jensen. Out to Ensminger. Ensminger on the baseline, bounces around and out, trying to get it to Charlo. Scuffle on the floor, and Glenwood City comes up with it. Max Jansen out of the backcourt for the Toppers. Give and go to Eggert. Eggert trying to get it underneath. Ball's knocked out by Colfax. Three-point attempt, no good for the Toppers, and it's rebounded by Irwin. Irwin up the floor to Johnson. Johnson trying to get it over to Jack Charlo. And that ball went way high. Glenwood City will bring it out. It'll be Eggert into Jansen, back to Eggert. Eggert with two guys on him, gets it to Harrington. Drives underneath, that ball sat there for a while, and Jack Charlo's going to rebound it. Puts it out in front of Elijah Ensminger. Ensminger out to Irwin. Irwin out to Johnson. Johnson alley-oops it over to Jensen in the corner. Back to Irwin. Irwin fires it back out on top, and I think Colfax can go up, but they're going to just let that go back to Colfax. .354 remaining second half. Blake Johnson Fires it to Jensen, who will dish it off to Ensminger. And ball turned over to Glenwood City. And we have a timeout on the floor. 3:51 remaining in the ball game. It's Colfax 61, Glenwood City 41. You're watching Colfax Viking Boys Basketball on the Northern Light Webcasting Network and NLWN2.
Are your pooch's proportions putting on pounds? Or is your kitty's constitution constantly complaining? Well, stop by and see the friendly folks at the Colfax Animal Hospital. Dr. Bruce Buckley and his staff will be happy to help you get your family friend back on the road to healthy living. That's the Colfax Animal Hospital. Call them at 715-962-3380.
Join us on NLWN2 for exciting Colfax High School Boys Basketball.
This is what we came in for!
Our next game will be on Thursday, January 26th, when the Vikings play host to the Mondovi Buffaloes. Live coverage on the Northern Light Webcasting Network audio service and on NLWN2 begins with Viking Pre-game at 6:50 p.m. That's live Colfax Viking Boys Basketball on the Northern Light Webcasting Network and NLWN2 on Thursday, January 26th.
Welcome back to Glenwood City. Toppers with the ball. It's Eggert. Up the floor to Jansen. Jansen trying to get a shot off, and he is fouled underneath on the way in. That's going to be charged to Kyle Irwin. Max Jansen on the free throw line. That is the 7th foul for the Vikings, so Glenwood City in the bonus. Max Jansen's first free throw, good. 1+1. We'll have the girls on NLWN TV and the Northern Light Webcasting Network Tuesday night against Durand. Second shot missed, rebounded by Jensen. Jensen back out to Irwin. Irwin dribbling it toward the far corner. He'll stop, free throw line extended right. He'll put it out on top, and he'll give it to Blake Johnson. Johnson out on top. Give and go. Out to Ensminger. Ensminger caught at the half-court line, fires it into Jensen. Jensen open, puts it in for a bucket. And Colfax wants a timeout. 3:13 remaining, second half. Colfax 63, Glenwood City 42. You're watching Colfax Viking Boys Basketball on the Northern Light Webcasting Network and NLWN2.
Soon the weather will change and you'll be able to breathe in the clean fresh air of spring. And you know what comes right along with that. That's right, it will be time for Eau Claire Cavalier Baseball. Follow the Cavaliers all season long right here on the Northern Light Webcasting Network audio service and NLWN TV. Be sure to check out our website at www.northernlightwebcastingnetwork.com for our current broadcast schedule.
We're checking the statistics for Nick Jensen. His season high coming into tonight was 15.
15, and he has 18 right now.
So Nick Jensen with a season high tonight. They've been able to get the ball into him, and he's been shooting well.
Yeah, you know, he's just kind of floating around there about halfway between the hoop and the free throw line, and just picking up those shots that he should.
Out of the backcourt, Jansen from Eggert. Jansen doubled up on. Out in the far corner, goes out to Harrington. Harrington to Nelson. Nelson goes up around Colton Hoffman and puts in the bucket. And bringing it up the floor, it is Medine for Colfax. Medine bounces it in between to Colton Hoffman. Hoffman trying to get it down inside to Ashton Greenwell. And it is picked off by Tyler Harrington, who's bringing it up the floor for Glenwood City. And Harrington traveled. 2.5 minutes remaining in the game. Colfax with a 29-point lead, 63-44. Check that, 31-point lead. And Glenwood City gets it back again. Jansen makes a move, left side off the glass, good. 63-46, Colfax. Medine bounces it in to Hoffman. Ball stolen, goes back up to Nelson. Nelson out to Morgan Eggert, puts in the basket on the left side, layup. Medine crosses the center jump circle. Medine into Hoffman. Hoffman puts it up, doesn't go. They knock the ball away from Greenwell, and Glenwood City will take it up the floor. It's Eggert. Eggert stops, goes up off the glass, puts it in. Minute and a half to go in the ball game, 63-50 Colfax. Vikings with the ball, Medine. And we'll have a timeout called by the Vikings. 1:21 left, second half, 63 for Colfax, 50 for Glenwood City. You're watching Colfax Viking Boys Basketball on the Northern Light Webcasting Network and NLWN 2.
The Northern Light Webcasting Network and NLWN2 are proud to announce that this spring they will be your viewing home for Eau Claire Cowboys football. Check out www.northernlightwebcastingnetwork.com for times and dates. That's Eau Claire Cowboy football on the Northern Light Webcasting Network and NLWN2.
Colfax with the ball. Johnson to Medine, back to Johnson. Back out to Medine, playing catch with it up on top, left side. Medine's going to drive in, dish it back out to Johnson. Johnson and Medine, still with it on the left sidelines, in the middle of Jensen. Jensen layup, good. 20 points for him, season high. Max Jansen up the floor, gets it back from Eggert. Jansen's going to drive in, dishes it off in the near corner to Anthony Nelson. Back up to Jansen. In the lane to Anderson. Anderson outside the lane, left side, missed, rebounded. Jensen trying to get it, but they say it's went out of bounds off Alec Anderson. 31 seconds left in tonight's game. Colfax with a 15-point lead over Glenwood City. Jensen back out to Johnson. And then to Kyle Irwin. And then into Jack Charlo. Misses the shot. Reload up and in. Unbelievable. Third time no. And it's rebounded by the Hilltoppers. Out to Jansen. Jansen outside the arch to Anderson. Back out to Eggert. Eggert driving in on the right side. Foul is on Jack Charlo.
Eggert has 13 as he goes to the line.
2.7 seconds left in the game. Eggert misses the shot. It's rebounded by Charlo. He's just going to hang on to it. As the game comes to an end, it is Colfax 65, Glenwood City 52. We invite you now to stay tuned for Viking Postgame. You're watching Colfax Viking Boys Basketball on the Northern Light Webcasting Network and NLWN 2.
Hey world, I have a quick message. It's about safe driving. All right, let's go. Anytime you're driving, have the seatbelt buckled tight. Both hands on the wheel and your phone out of sight. When not in your hand trying to text somebody back. Because if you do, your car might get smacked. The moral of the story, just put your phone down. The people on the road will stay safe and sound. Put your phone down, put your phone down. People on the road will stay safe and sound. Yeah.
Thank you for joining us for Colfax Boys Basketball. This has been a presentation of the Northern Light Webcasting Network and NLWN2. Stay tuned. Coming up next is Viking Postgame, where we'll take a look back at today's Colfax Viking Boys game.
The central and midwestern U.S. averages more than 850 tornadoes each year, and lately, the number of floods has been rising in the region too. So chances are, there will be more twisters and floods near here again. And between school, sports, and social lives, chances are, you won't be with your kids when it happens. Will they know what to do? Ready.gov/kids has all the educational tools and information to make the conversation easy. When the time comes, chances are they'll feel prepared, not scared. So talk with your family today.
Time now for Viking Postgame, a wrap-up of today's Colfax Viking Boys game. And now, Viking Postgame.
Welcome back to Glenwood City, where the Colfax Vikings have pushed their conference record up to 4 wins and 3 losses, and they are 9-4 in the season, while Glenwood City still looking for that conference win in 7 games, and they are 2-10 on the season. And Mark Knoll joins us. And Coach, you had a physical battle earlier in the week, and got another one tonight.
It was a crazy week, you know, to have those 2 games at home, Monday and Tuesday. They were tough games. Then we had a snow day, you know, on Thursday, so we couldn't prepare for the game. I thought the kids came out and executed really well for not doing that. And then I think we took our foot off the gas. And once I took the foot off the gas with pressing, then we kind of slowly, they kind of got more aggressive. And that's the difference in the game, was who the aggressor was. We were the aggressive in the first half. They were the aggressor in the second half. You know, and I guess I was too nice tonight. I got to get back to being mean.
A pretty balanced effort, you know, up and down the roster. You know, a lot of guys
What
got
did
some time.
everybody have on your end? What do you guys see?
Well, let's see. You want? Why don't you run it down, Dan?
We had Nick Jensen with 20.
That's a career high. That's his career high right there.
Career high, okay.
And Charlo had 12. A couple guys had 9.
All right. Well, I like the fact that, you know, we had how many guys score there? It looks like a lot.
8 guys.
8 guys scored, you know, and that's huge. We had 10 guys play, so 8 of them scored. That's awesome. And we needed Nick to get going because we feel like he can. He's got really soft hands. He does not miss around the basket very much, so we've been wanting more from him. So I'm super happy that he stepped up. So I know his mom will be happy too.
Yeah. I mean, when they could get it into him, he seemed to be in the right position and got it in there. So
I think that was just a kind of a game where I give credit to Glenwood City. They just kept fighting, you know, and they made it a game. You know, it obviously never got to the point where I was worried, but you know, I'm sure the boys would have liked to have won by more. But at the same time, whatever. You know, it's a big win on the road. We're 9-4 overall, 4-3 in conference. I think we're in 3rd place in conference right now.
Yep.
You know, and you know, no, don't take this wrong, officials out there, but they had 1 foul in the second half. Guys, my eyes weren't bad, were they? Is that what they had?
No.
Okay. I think they had more than one.
I don't think so. Yeah, that was sort of amazing. So you get some time to prepare and that sort of thing if the weather stays good.
So
and
now we
then
can
hosting Mondovi.
This will be our first time having a Saturday, Sunday off in a long time. So we're going to give them the whole weekend off. Then we'll have Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday to prepare for Mondovi, and then Osceola. I think it's Osceola or whoever. I can't remember. I think it's Osceola.
Yep.
I can only think of one at a time.
Yep, so, you're right. Yep, it is. Up there at Osceola, and that'll be back to back. And they're 6-0 in their conference.
Mondovi's huge. You're gonna look at their record, but they are a much better team than what their record says.
Okay, so. You'll get them prepared, and another conference game. So
thanks,
awesome.
Guys.
Yeah,
Appreciate it.
Mark
Thanks,
Knoll.
guys.
Yep, head coach of the Colfax Vikings boys, our guest on Viking post-game show. And we'll be back to take a look at more detailed look at the numbers and wrap it up. You're watching Colfax Vikings Boys Basketball on the Northern Light Webcasting Network and NLWN 2.
STEM is everywhere, like here, behind the scenes of The Walking Dead.
When we break down clothes, we tumble it with trisodium phosphate, rock salt, and dish detergent.
We stitched together images of our model and created a 3D set that can be walked through in a VR headset.
We're able to turn 12 walkers into 1,000 walker hordes.
STEM can create new worlds on and off the screen. What will you make with STEM? Get inspired at shecanstem.com.
Welcome back. Colfax 65, Glenwood City 52. How'd we get there, Dan?
Yeah, here's the scores tonight for Glenwood City. Their leading scorer was number 2, Morgan Eggert. He had 13, followed by Anthony Nelson with 10. We had Max Jansen with 10. We had Alec Anderson with 8. We had Tyler Harrington with 5. We had Jackson Hallback and Jaden Quinn with 2. For the Colfax Vikings, their leading scorer tonight was number 20, Nick Jensen. He had 20 points, followed by Jack Charlotte with 12. We had Kyler Irwin with 9. Blake Johnson with 8. Aiden Fisher had 6. Elijah Ensminger had 9. We had Mason Arrington with 3, and Ben Charlo with 2 points to make it 65-52.
All right, thanks, Dan. And coming up, as Mark Nolan had mentioned, the Viking boys next host Mondovi. That's Thursday night, and you can see that on NLWN 2. Viking pregame 6:50, live play-by-play following that. And then the girls will be on NLW TV Tuesday night. They host the Durand, Arkansas Panthers, 6:50 Viking pregame, and then play-by-play live after that. Tonight's Colfax High School basketball game brought to you by the Colfax Animal Hospital. Let Dr. Buckley and his friendly staff take care of your pet. Dairy State Bank, where they're banking on relationships. Midwest Environmental Consultants, soil testers for the Chippewa Valley. Anderson Bridges, who have been manufacturing prefabricated steel truss bridges since 1989. Slayton's Technology IT provider for the Northern Light Webcasting Network. Mom's Restaurant and Pub in Colfax. Comfort food the way Mom used to make it. And Fit Fam Nutrition of Colfax, with drinks that taste as good as their names sound, plus they're healthy. Be sure to thank these fine sponsors by stopping in and visiting and doing some business with them soon. For Dan Petchaw and Chris Olson on the camera and executive producer Rick Olson, I'm Jay Fall. Thanks a lot for joining us. The Viking boys win 65-52 over Glenwood. Good night.
You've been listening to Viking Postgame, a wrap-up of today's Colfax Viking Boys game. You can catch Colfax Vikings games by tuning in to any of the Northern Light Webcasting Network outlets. This has been a production of the Northern Light Webcasting Network.